Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, welcome to another awesome, slightly tired Ask Engineer. We just got off the train from the Open Source Hardware Summit, but we're ready to rock. We got so much exciting news, so many exciting products, so much exciting everything. Yeah. Anyways, I'm Lady Ada, I'm the engineer. With me is Phil.
Yes.
Camera control, also wearing black. All good?
It's the official company uniform, I have to.
It's Adafruit black, not just any black. Trust me, we like Pantone this shit out.
Okay. All right. Let me go over what's on tonight's show?
Yeah, what's on tonight's show?
Okay, on tonight's show, the code is Trinket, 10% off everything in the Adafruit store. Use the code Trinket on checkout. I think we still have some trinkets left. It's a new product.
We have some 3-volt trinkets.
We'll talk about that soon. Some news in the world of Arduino. As seen on the show and tell, we'll talk about some cool things.
Oh, it's awesome.
It was really awesome. We'll talk about Internet of Things. New little segment we have. Open source hardware, the Open Hardware Summit. We'll talk about
We was there.
our visit and more. Adafruit Learning System, new tutorials this week in the Adafruit Learning System. Wearable Wednesday, 3D Thursday, Pi Day, new products. We'll answer your questions. We'll have a trivia question. We might talk about something top secret, all that and more, and we probably will show a picture of MOSFET.
Same picture.
On Ask an Engineer. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Big week. I'm
It was
exhausted.
big, and you know what's funny? We actually were not even here for most of the week because we were.
Yeah.
Monday was Labor Day. We
Yeah.
had Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We were in Boston,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about.
We've been running really hard, but everything's getting
We
done.
ran to Boston. No, we took the train.
Yeah. Okay. So first up, pay some bills. The code is Trinket, 10% off everything in stock in the Adafruit store. Use the code Trinket on checkout, get 10% off. All right. First up, let's just dive right in. We're gonna have to do this show.
Yeah. Well, we're here.
Show's not gonna do itself.
I do the show.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years I do the show.
All right. So
My eyes closed.
as seen on the show and tell, Lady Ada, what was on the show and tell?
Okay, we had a full house.
The show and tell is getting intense. Projects are amazing, and it's booked, so everyone shows their project.
It was intense, and nobody has gotten hurt yet.
Yeah. All right.
Isaac Maxey showed up first with not his he's doing like some pretty intense projects. We had a radio telescope before, but this time he's doing really high voltage stuff. Like we're talking 25,000 to 30,000, 40,000 volts. He's trying to light up an X-ray tube, a high voltage triode that can emit X-rays. So he's kind of using that as a way to generate X-rays. And I don't exactly know why, but like it's cool because it's really high voltage. And he like showed us some arcs, and it was pretty awesome. He was using a flyback from a monitor. Don't do that at home unless you're really sure you know what you're doing. Steve showed up with a cool controller for satellite trackers using ham radio or software-defined radio or something to get the location of satellites. It's something I want to, because we're going to do some SDR, software-defined radio stuff. So I want to try this stuff out. And you can use software that will like track a satellite with like a XY motor thing. So like you have a gantry and it will actually like track the satellite. So you can like take a photo or have an antenna point at the satellite, which is kind of neat if you're like satellite watcher. Tony showed up with a really awesome internet web-controlled cat toy Raspberry Pi torturing device. It's awesome. It's a laser pointer on 2 servos, also like an XY gantry. You could actually theoretically have this connected to a satellite tracker and then have a laser pointed at a satellite, but you know, this is better as a cat toy. And then what he does is using a webcam while he's at work, getting paid to do something probably very important and like maybe saving lives.
Maybe he makes laser guided systems, or maybe he makes other things, or maybe he's a veterinarian.
I don't know. Anyways, he clicks on his screen and it moves the laser pointer so he can like make his cat run around the room.
It was kind of like Missile Command. The show is automatically recorded on YouTube after you watch us.
You gotta go see this thing.
Really cool project.
The poor cat was in a box, sleeping, very happy, and then he got like turned into a demo. Okay, Trammell Hudson from New York City Resistor, one of our BFFs, showed up with more awesome BeagleBone Black PRU action. I looked at the PRU and I was kind of like, I don't really feel like doing this, but he totally feels like doing it, so he did it. So he's controlling our RGB LED matrices, which are like full color LED displays, 16 by 32 LEDs, and he got it working with the BeagleBone using this microcontroller inside of the BeagleBone to do the high speed graphics management, which is really awesome. And I'm going to totally go to GitHub as soon as the show's over and download it. check it out. Called Octoscroller. Okay, Phil B showed up with his LED glasses. He actually has a Vine on the Adafruit blog, so you can go look at that. And he put some of the new NeoPixel strip, the high-density NeoPixel strip, and a Trinket, which we will talk about shortly. It's also
I'm actually going to show that little video.
Okay, we're going to show this little video later. But anyways, it's a cool project. It's got a little Cylon thing going on. It's cool. Lon showed up with his awesome game controller. Now it has the NeoPixel ring, like this, and it like has time down, time clock down, counting, whatever. It's awesome, and it warns you if you're about to run out of time to answer a question. So he's making like the best game controller ever. He should hook up with the guy who did the Presser Luck thing. I think that they could do something
All these
together.
projects are starting to go together. It's very
and
good.
then another Phil and Joe Fox showed up, and they actually, like, remember you when you were in grade school, people who are at least 30, and you had those clocks, and they were all synced in every classroom, and like you were an engineer, so you wondered how did they sync every single clock to be exactly at the same time? Well, they actually talked about it. It's this master control system that IBM came up with. That's what IBM started out as, making these clock controllers, and they actually use a pulsing system to synchronize clocks, and so he's making an Arduino controller. So you can like relive like hoping the teacher doesn't call on you, and it's like 5 minutes, and like, come on, and you're like watching the clock. So you can relive that at home, and it's beautiful clocks.
Okay.
That was glorious. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
All participants on the show and tell get an as seen on the show and tell sticker. If you want to be on the show and tell, Lady Ada, how do they do that?
First, have an awesome project. Or you're working on an awesome project. Or you think it's awesome. You go to our Google Plus page at plus2google.com/+Adafruit, and you find the little thread where I say comment here and get added to the circle. Get added to the circle of projects, which is kind of like the circle of life. And then every Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from now until a little bit from now, you will get invited to the show and tell, and you can show off your project. You can show off your project as many times as you want, but please have a project.
It works out great. We were at the Open Hardware Summit, and we saw projects that people showed on the show and tell, and we had sent them a sticker.
It was totally meta.
And the show and tell sticker was on the project, so it was really cool to not only see that, but also meet a lot of people in person who've been on the show and tell.
They were they were really high resolution, and the motion was really good.
Yeah. All right. Excuse me. Next up. News in the world of Arduino. We just saw Massimo. He was here, and he was on the he was on show and tell and Ask an Engineer. And after he left, he said, "Oh, I'm doing this workshop in New York. So if you're interested in taking a free workshop, there's an Arduino workshop at the IDEO offices at 28 Mercer Street, September 14th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you can go there."
That's awesome. That's right from now.
Yeah, IDEO, Arduino. That's really cool.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
How can you not go? Sign up.
And Massimo's there, author of the Getting Started with Arduino and also co-founder of Arduino. On the Arduino blog, they just did 2 big posts about the Arduino Yun and its bridge mode and all the things that it can do. So we got asked a lot of questions because it's a coming soon product for us. So do go over there on the Arduino blog and check it out. And then also, don't forget to sign up on the Adafruit site for the Arduino Yun, because we're going to get some, and a lot of people signed up. We're probably going to sell out fast, so if you want one, please sign up right away.
Sign up, because they will go very fast, because there's a limited number we can get for our first order.
Yeah. And if anyone can post up a link in the chat, that'd be really helpful for the Arduino Yun sign up. Okay.
Thank you.
Next up, in the world of maker business, there is a new crowdfunding place, Dragon Innovation. They have their own crowdfunding platform now. Dragon is known for making like some of the hardware in the MakerBot for the Pebble. Yeah.
They also did the Clocky, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Pretty sure.
But they're well known. There's other companies out there that are doing these incubators, but this in Dragon's effort, in addition to having like an incubator-like thing, like PCH has Highway 1, and there's other accelerators. They have a funding platform similar like Kickstarter or Tindy. You know, they have crowdfunding. So the first ones that are on there, there is a limited edition Pebble Watch. There's a Flex Circuit thing. Check it out. It looks pretty neat. There's Tessel, which Tessel uses the CC3000, and it's like a JavaScript machine.
Yeah, it's an ARM processor that runs JavaScript.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. So do check it out. Also in Maker Business News, if you're interested in going to Shenzhen and you want to find your way around, Seed Studio just launched a free PDF, and you can buy a map.
Yeah.
And has all the factories in different places. It's in the open.
I don't know if it's factories, but it's like places you
Yeah.
can attend, not showrooms and stores
Yeah.
and like the mall, like Kwangbei.
Yeah, and it's in the map came in the open hardware
Yeah.
bag.
it's all over.
Yeah. And where's that bag, by the way? Is it at your desk?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you'll get it
During the video.
during the video.
I'll go right over.
All right. Next up, more news around the world. Lego now has their first female scientist. So the Lego minifigs, they have all these little figures,
Okay.
and this one is just called Scientist. Not
Scientist.
just called Scientist.
Not biologist.
Yeah.
Kind of looks a little bit like a biologist or chemist.
Not just a vet or whatever. That's traditionally that's what happened, or
Okay.
it'd be gender specific. But it's cool. It's a step in the right direction. One of the things that there was only like boy engineer stuff
Yeah.
with Lego, and so we made the Adafruit Lady Ada Lego set. So there could be young girls to see, oh, I can be an engineer, and I can imagine what it's like to work in a factory, and here's a little pick and place, and here's a cat.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is a big first step. I think it's good. Everything is starting to happen. There's more minifigs and more little sets that I think are inclusive of everyone.
Yeah.
So anyways, we keep track of this stuff. Next up, there's a contest on EE Times. This is a caption contest. And
There's a shark.
There's a shark. Go check it out. If you're one of the people who win, you win a Trinket. So we have our friend Caleb.
Yeah, we're sponsoring it.
Yeah. Caleb Kraft, who we just saw at the Open Hardware Summit, is
That's right.
the community editor over there. And we're sponsoring this caption contest. So head over to EE Times, check it out if you want to win a Trinket. It's really easy. All you have to do is say something funny. There's oscilloscopes and a big shark, and caption that image. Next up.
I don't even know. I don't even.
Next up, big milestone in the makers, hackers, and artists and engineers community. This is the community that we started on Google+. We're up to 60,000 people sharing their artwork, sharing their projects, sharing ideas,
Yeah, it's
sharing links to their projects, sharing files.
It's not just for like super geeks. It's also just like artists and makers and artisans
Yeah.
and crafters and a lot of people. And I like that people are doing a lot of cross-pollination, as they would say.
Yeah.
Where people will post up ideas and then other people will respond with their expertise. It's cool.
One of the cool things too is when there's someone is looking for help with a problem, someone with their relative had limited mobility because they got ill, and everyone got together and helped find a solution using electronics, using 3D printing. All this stuff is really, really neat. So more on that later. We're going to be doing a special effort in October with the makers, artists, hackers, and engineers community. So if you haven't joined, join.
Please
It's gonna
join.
be cool. All right, next up. Back to the mailbag. Every single week we read some letters from customers. We get lots of letters and we like to read them to you. This week, dear Miss Freed, there wasn't a category for amazing turnaround, so I selected the one closest. I simply can't believe how fast you folks are.
We're so fast.
I spent a great deal of time researching procurement for my Arduino projects, and I am terribly glad I chose Adafruit Industries for exploration of my electronics. You've made an old Unix admin very excited about technology again. Be well, Scott.
Yay!
All right. Next up, we have a new segment, Internet of Things. So this is Nimbus. This is our little cloud creature entity. These are all little things you can do with Internet of Things. And the reason that we're doing a new segment is we're starting to be known for a company that makes Internet of Things devices. So in the New York Times, probably tomorrow,
Or maybe next week Sunday.
who knows, you're going to have a short little opinion piece because people are starting to get worried or concerned or excited about the possibilities of Internet of Things.
Yeah.
So the story that just came out was a company got in trouble because someone figured out that they can take over all these home cameras and they got a fine. And these Internet of Things devices, people are concerned that they don't know what's going on with them. They're not sure how they work, what data is being stored, where it's being stored, what if I want that data out. So we have our own Internet of Things board, and one of the things, this is just a preview of what is going to be in the New York Times. We think that there might be an interesting effort for companies like us who do open source hardware, open source software, and also make Internet of Things devices, to have an Internet of Things Bill of Rights. So we thought this could be the start of it. With a lot of efforts. We're not going to start a foundation or a nonprofit or anything. We just want to get the idea out there.
It's like software bill of rights, with open source software.
Yeah,
you have the right to modify and understand your software. You should have the right to understand and modify.
So this is what we're thinking.
Your data.
Open is better than closed. This ensures portability between Internet of Things devices. In other words, let's say if your Internet of Things camera company goes out of business, well, all that data that is stored or whatever, you should be able to bring that to another one. That's your data, not theirs, yours. Next up, consumers, not companies, own the data collected by Internet of Things devices.
So they can't sell that data to someone else.
So and
without your explicit permission.
Yeah. Next up, Internet of Things devices that collect public data must share that data. So if there's a sensor in town square and it's a public device, it's Internet of Things thing, if it's getting all of our data, we should have access to that. It's public data. It's a public resource.
Like, for example, how many people are walking past a sensor? We should be able to find out that number.
That's right. Also, if you're a user of these things, you should be able to keep your data private. You should always know that, like, oh, this my Wi-Fi scale is not going to broadcast how much I weigh if I tell it not to do that.
Ow.
Next up, users can delete or back up data collected by Internet of Things devices. That's one of the ones that I think people are going to need to start thinking about, because storage is basically unlimited, forever, store everything. You know, the NSA is in the news constantly, but every little device is going to start storing and sending things out there. So you should be able to back it up or delete it if you want. So anyways, we think these are reasonable things that consumers should be able to do. And our hack is, well, you get the code and you even get the board files. Like, you can see everything that's going on, but maybe other people won't. They just buy a Wi-Fi scale and they think it's just storing somewhere on their Facebook profile, but who knows what's going on and who knows how it's being shared. So we think maybe we can get companies to say, oh yeah, we agree with this set of principles.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll see. The CC3000 is what made us think about this, because this is the Adafruit Internet of Things board. A couple home automation things were posted on our site. This one is a little weather station using the board, and then this is a little relay, so you can turn on and off a relay right from this device.
Yeah.
It's just an Arduino CC3000 and a relay, and you can turn something on or off.
Or something,
yeah, you can send an email to something and it'll turn off a light. Very cool. So that's our Internet of Things segment. Just real quick, just checking in. We'll see what happens, what reactions we get from this, Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
If everything talks to the internet, what does that mean? So next up, open source hardware. We just got back from this conference. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Excellent work. Addie, Jimmy, every one of the people who put it together, all the sponsors, all the participants. I tried to live blog most of it. As the sessions that got recorded are published, I'm going to go back and put the video so you can see each speaker on the Adafruit site in the open hardware section, or you can search our blog, #OH Summit, and see each one. I was doing research on each speaker, so you can see their past talks or slides. Waza slides are up there. So here's some of the things from the summit. First up, this is a really cool sign. This was designed by Matthew Borgatti, and Jimmy worked on it, and it uses our NeoPixels, and it was laser cut. It's like all these amazing things.
Super awesome.
That's what's on the podium. Becky Stern, our director of Wearable Electronics, spoke at the conference. That was a highlight for us.
Great.
The CERN Open Hardware License 1.2 was released. I think it was just good timing.
Yeah.
That was really cool. We got our badges. Here's the Lady Ada badge. You got your e-ink badges from Wylam. Or Wylam, how do you pronounce it?
Wylam?
Wylam.
Yeah,
and
they came. Ours came preloaded with our images from the internet.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So it's like it's actually really handy because you didn't have to write or draw anything. You just turn it on. It's like, hey, it's my badge. And then there was a cool photo booth using a Raspberry Pi, one of our buttons, and this was on the show and tell. There it is, as seen on the show and tell. Woz gave an excellent presentation about managing all the types of open source hardware and software. Yeah, she's really into managing information, not just building stuff, but how do you manage large projects? And so, having managed large projects with a lot of people at Harvard Reese Institute, she's like, well, how can we use that information to manage hardware projects that are spread all over the world? There might be one engineer here and one engineer there. Yeah. How do they collaborate? How do they organize data? How do they make sure that when they're done with their part of the project, it can live on and not just sort of get abandoned? One of my favorite talks and things that I
wanted to make sure I mentioned. So Making Society has a wiki, and the wiki has all the open source hardware companies.
Yeah.
Finally, thank you, thank you, thank you. So one of the things I used to write about was every year I would write about all the open source hardware companies.
Yeah.
It was very easy when there was like 2. And then it got to like 20, and I'm like, okay, I could do this. Then it was like 300 or so projects.
Yeah, we got like 300 projects, and you're like, I gotta stop.
And then I'm like, I can't keep up anymore. And I'm like, hey, can everyone get together and please figure out a great wiki? It should be, you know, from an organization, not just a person. And let's try to keep track of all this stuff. So Making Society has it. So there's a list of all the cool open source hardware companies. Yeah. So when you're trying to decide where to get hardware and
you want it to be open source, like you're like, I want a synthesizer, but I want it to be open source.
So
check out this list.
Yeah. Next up, some of the things I just wanted to mention a couple of stuff. So we're gonna have some follow-up posts, but some of the things that I thought was really interesting at the summit, people are starting to do open hardware for biology and for medical. So this is one of the spinners.
Yeah.
It's a little
centrifuge.
Little centrifuge.
Centrifuge for like separating blood plasma.
Yeah.
From blood.
And uses like an Arduino and like I think that was our LCD.
Yeah.
Like very laser cut stuff. This is really interesting because in some parts of the world you just might not be able to get a $10,000 version. You may need to like go to the.
Or it's like you want to just learn how these things are made.
Yeah.
Right. This is a pretty basic piece of equipment, but maybe you want to customize it.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to have you know it's speed up and slow down in certain ways. It could be really beneficial to have a custom version for yourself.
Next up, one of the speakers that was fantastic and also projects was the Tapster. It's a 3D printed robot that you put your phone down there.
It's a Delta bot.
Yeah, and what it does is it'll go through user testing and it can tweet on its own. It can type. And you
yeah, it has a little conductive rubber ball thing, so it looks like a human finger, and so you can slot an iPhone or Android phone in, and it'll just press buttons forever, which is handy.
And one of the cool things, the fellow behind it, he said, "Thank you, Lady Ada, for making the servos that you can train." So you can that's
feedback servos.
The feedback servos. So if you want to actually train it, you just move it yourself with your hand. And you're recording that motion, and then you hit stop, and then you hit play, and it does it again.
Yeah.
So you can even make a little thing that signs
like a doodle
books
or something.
automatically. But this is really neat because it's going on a phone screen, and you can that's user testing.
Yeah, I thought it was cute. Yeah, and he's just like really likes this stuff, and he's just been working on this for years. And it's cool. And he talked about how he just instead of using Kickstarter, he just built one. And sold it, and then just to see how it worked out.
He had some good advice, because a lot of people are like, I'll just do a Kickstarter, and he was like, make one first, try to sell it, then maybe hit a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Have something that works, because you don't want to get into a situation, I mean, unless it's something very, very simple that you're positive, because you've done something similar before, if you're not 100% sure. And then it can drag on to 2 or 3 years without shipping.
And then last up,
projects are like that.
One of my favorite talks was from Caleb Kraft, formerly of Hackaday, now at EE Times. Speaking of EE Times, because we're doing that caption contest, he did a talk about helping disabled kids with game controllers, so they can just be like all the other kids and play video games. One described helping out some parents. The equipment, the assistive equipment, is really expensive. And there's things that you can make using Arduino, using lots of different off-the-shelf, DIY things, TV begons, all sorts of things for remote controls. So he talked about that, and it was just an amazing talk. It was one of my favorite talks.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And it was really good because it made us all, I think, what else can we do with this electronics knowledge? What else can we do to help out people? So it was a really good talk.
Yeah.
Anyways, Open Hardware Summit, you'll see more stuff online. We have one of the bags tonight for the prize. We're going to give away. So we're like one entity, but they gave us 2 bags. So we're going to give away one of the goodie bags to someone. So get ready.
A full goodie bag.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of cool stuff.
I haven't even gone through all the stuff, but there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but we're going to keep one.
I'll go grab it.
Yeah, we'll do that in a bit. Okay. Next up.
Where were we?
Adafruit Learning System.
Oh, right.
Adafruit Learning System. We're almost up to 300 tutorials, Lady Ada.
Yay.
Adafruit Learning System getting a bunch of shout-outs and a lot of people coming up to you saying, thank you.
Yeah.
At the Open Hardware Summit.
Yeah.
It has a bigger impact. There was educators saying, I print out the PDFs right there. We use it in our classes. People saying, I've been using the Adafruit learning system since it came out, and now I know everything about electronics. Now I teach electronics. It was really cool.
Using the learning system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we try to add at least one tutorial a week, but right now I'm actually doing a lot of hardware design, so it's not as many tutorials. But hopefully, in the fall, winter, we'll see some good stuff.
So tutorials that are added, I'll go through these real quick. The first one, and we're not going to spend too much time on it because we're going to talk about new products soon. The Trinket tutorial. If you like Trinket, want to learn how to Trinket, it's a massive tutorial. You did an excellent job.
I spent like 2 days on this because I really wanted to explain what Trinket was and how to use it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good details in there.
Yeah.
And we don't have Trinket projects up yet, but they are coming.
Yeah, working on it. Next up, we'll get to this one in a second. This is the Locket, USB Locket video that Becky did, and she has a companion tutorial in the Adafruit learning system.
Little project.
And then this one just got posted. Phil B.
Oh, I didn't post it yet.
It was live.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was live. This is a Trinket project.
It is live. Sorry.
It is a Trinket project. And you want to just briefly describe what this is?
Yeah, actually, I must have livened it and I forgot. Yeah, I'm really tired. This is a little tap tempo project. So it uses the Trinket and it has a button as an input, which is a little blue button on the left, and then it has one of our 7-segment backpacks that you can control over I2C, and you can do basic I2C on the Trinket. It's not like hardware I2C, but it works. I mean, it is hardware I2C. It's not as complicated and advanced as the Arduino. You don't have as much RAM, but you can do some basic projects. So this one, when you tap the button multiple times, it will calculate what the beats per minute tempo is, and then print it out. It's handy for beginner DJs, for example. Or people who are like composing music and they want to they're like, I have a feel for like how fast I want it to be, and then you just tap tempo and it will tell you what the tempo is.
New York's hottest club is Adafruit. We've got Trinkets, we got Gemmas, we got Floras. We got a guy with a skateboard named Bacon. Okay, all right, let's keep going. It's true, we have all this.
So we do have at least one Trinket project up. So yay!
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't built it, but I'm sure it works.
Next up,
Philby made it.
Wearable Wednesday. All the wonderful, amazing things in the world of wearables. This week, USB Locket. This is a fantastic, fun, and easy project that, let's say if you work for, I don't know, some like government agency or something, you need to get files out. You could put them in a Locket.
A lot of files.
Yeah, you can put them in a Locket.
You have to get a lot of files out.
Yeah, this is a cool project, and Becky has a video, and
here it is.
Here we go.
Over the years, I have had so many USB flash drives, and I use this one to bring my footage home for editing. But I had to add a lanyard to it so that I don't lose it. And for something I carry with me every single day, it doesn't reflect my style at all. Why can't it be more like a fashion accessory, like my cell phone case? Well, today I'm going to show you how to make this USB Locket so you can carry your files in style. It's perfect for critical medical records or treasured family photos, top secret offline file sharing, even use it to transfer your important PowerPoint slides. Just surf online for the tiniest drive you can find. We're using this gold-colored 32GB chiclet from SuperTalent. Look for the stated dimensions of the drive or measure it with calipers when it arrives. That way, when you're surfing the myriad lockets on Etsy, you'll have an idea of which ones will fit the drive. Even still, it's not exact. Many of the locket dimensions given are overall size and don't specify the depth of the cavity. So we suggest buying multiple lockets to increase your chances of success. These ones were only $1 a piece. Connect the flash drive to the locket with a chain and jump ring. Adafruit pliers come in handy for this, and voila! Our simplest wearables project to date. Now, because it's a piece of jewelry, I want to wear it everywhere. Subscribe to the Adafruit channel on YouTube, and don't miss our weekly live show about wearable electronics with me, Becky Stern.
All right, there it is.
That's an easy project. Nice fun one.
Yeah, really cool project, really easy to do. And this is one of the ones that, you trick people because they start to modify and they do something with their own stuff, and then all of a sudden they're learning electronics, they're doing crafting, they're sharing stuff online, they're teaching people, they're going to events, they're starting companies.
Yeah. You start them young.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I got the bag.
Okay, great. Next up, 3D Thursday. All the things in the world of 3D printing.
3D.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple quick things I just wanted to mention. First up, Matt has an excellent series. He picks a really good 3D printing book every week and talks about it. If you're into 3D printing and you want to get a lot of information about what books to buy or like what resources to look at, check this out. The other thing is, at the Open Hardware Summit, there was 2 rep wraps that I've never seen or heard about because I can't keep track of this stuff. There's one called the Simpson, and there's one called Morgan. So these are 2 new types of rep wraps, and I guess
these are crazy.
Yeah, and apparently one of them is really good for food, like food printing, because it keeps everything away from the platform. So so that was really neat to see those. I wasn't familiar with them. So yeah, this one's Morgan, and this one is Simpson.
I love how the all these 3D printers look. They look kind of different. They're just they really are like.
There's a menagerie of them.
There really is like mutations.
Yeah.
You know, in the designs.
All right, and then next up,
It's a weird Delta Bot-like thing going on.
This is a cat with laser eyes, and these are, I believe, our little lasers.
Yeah, I think these are our line lasers.
Yeah.
Which I made for laser scanner,
And
not cats with eyes that are lasers.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
So-
Whatever makes you happy.
So MakerBot posted these up. We'll mention this in the new product section soon. But don't forget, the MakerBot digitizer, the 3D scanner, is about to hit the shelves soon. We'll have them. MakerBot has them. Sign up. These are also going to go really, really fast. So if you're interested in 3D scanning items, this is probably one of the best ways.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fun projects with it coming up soon, too. Next up, Pi Day. Every Friday. All the Pi news that's fit to blog. I only have a couple ones because I wanted to have enough time for the new products tonight. This was neat. Someone using a Raspberry Pi. You know those Muni signs in San Francisco?
Well, a lot of bus stops have these. They're little like notices. Some tells you when the bus is showing up, or news, or route changes.
So someone made their own using a Raspberry Pi.
Oh, look at that. That's cute.
Isn't that neat? So they can just keep it in their apartment or their office, and it tells them when the things are coming up. And then next up, the Magpie, the latest issue came out. This is a free magazine made on the Raspberry Pi, and you can download it.
Yeah, look at it. It's got Pi Matrix, Bash, Java, XML, LogiPi, FPGA, USB Arduino link. All sorts of good stuff.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Why is our building shaking?
Yeah, the building is shaking here, folks. I don't know. Something just happened.
Okay.
Okay.
Quake!
All right.
Okay.
Next up, before we go on to new products, the code is Trinket.
Trinkets.
Yeah. 10% off. Everything in stock. In the Adafruit store. Code expires tonight, 11:59.
Trinket, trinket,
Okay.
trinket, 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 trinket.
Here we go. New products time, Lady Ada.
It's new.
Yeah, well,
Is the new sound
there
playing?
is. It's playing right now. You can't hear it. Okay, new products. First one.
I feel it though.
Yeah. Don't forget.
Digitizer.
Digitizer, sign up. This will be probably in our store this week, I think.
Maybe.
Sign up. That's the
The moment
first.
we have them, we will notify everybody on the list. So you want to be on that list if you want to get one.
Yeah, okay. And next up is our new CC3000 with antenna. Check it
UFO
out.
antenna.
Yeah.
So this is a modification of the existing CC3000. We actually wanted to wait until we had enough people who ordered the plain type with the antenna, since this is a little bit more advanced usage.
Yeah. You want to go to the overhead?
Let's go to the overhead.
Okay, we have a spiffy
Okay.
new overhead tonight.
Yeah, which I'm still kind of configuring. Okay, so this is your classic CC3000. If you see this little white thing here, that's the antenna. Wait, no, I'm covering it. This is the antenna that's on board, and this is what we normally sell. And over here, there's a pad for a antenna connector, which we didn't place. But we had it on the design so that in the future we could make a version that does not have let's see, maybe nope. That does not have the antenna. Instead, it has the connector, and then you would use a antenna like this Wi-Fi antenna and a UFL adapter, and then you it's actually kind of easy. You just snap the UFL connector. It's a standard connector, and it hold on, if you have it in the right angle. Yeah, it's also really small, but you snap it in. There you go. And then you have this connector which you can then connect to an external antenna. And the reason you'd want to do that is, for example, it's in a box, or you want more range because you can use a much bigger antenna. You want a directional antenna. You can, even though it's a passive antenna, you can use a pretty powerful custom antenna. However, trade-off is it is no longer automatically FCC certified. So if you use the original antenna, it maintains the FCC certification that for the emitter part of this board. You still have to, if you're using it in a product, you still have to get FCC certification, but some part of it is already done for you. If you're using an antenna, that is a no-go, so you will have to redo that. So it's just something to be aware of.
Okay. Quick question about the CC3000. Can you program it, or do you need a separate microcontroller?
You must have a separate microcontroller. There is a microcomputer inside, but they don't have a compiler for it, so
Okay.
there's space for code, but there's no way to compile code to it.
Okay. The CC3000 breakout is designed to be used within Arduino, correct?
This can be used with any microcontroller at all that can do SPI, which is like every single microcontroller, and has an interrupt pin. We have example code for Arduino, but there are people who have ported the code to PIC. We have NetDuino. We know people have been using it with the NetDuino, and other processors as well. So we provide code for Arduino because we can only support one thing at a time, but there's code for other platforms.
Okay. Do you know what the range is with that antenna?
I don't, but you know what? It's kind of like if you think of what a Wi-Fi and a Wi-Fi dongle has. So this has, using a small antenna, has about twice the range of the onboard antenna. So instead of like whatever 100 feet, it's 200 feet or something. Yeah. It does depend, of course, on what's around and. If there's any interference, but you will get better range with an external antenna. It's bigger.
And what is the smart config thing that these modules support?
Smart config is a way to set up the SSID and password using a smartphone or computer, so you don't have to type in the SSID. For a lot more details on that, you'll want to check out the TI website because they wrote it, and I don't 100% understand how it works. It uses some sort of like way of detecting SCC3000 and configuring it. It does work. I have example code for it. I use it with an iPad. That's all I did. So theoretically, it works with Android. It probably also works with the computer. I just don't know for sure.
Okay. Next up, they debut Trinket.
It'd be Trinket.
It is here. Here are some wonderful photos. I'm going to show first. Look how tiny it is. It's a tiny breadboard, and there's a tiny thing. Here it is, next to a quarter, super tiny. I have a little video of a.
Oh yeah, actually, can we? Yeah, let's let me describe what it is first.
Yeah.
This is the board has the Trinket has an onboard bootloader that uses USB, and so you can plug it with a USB cable into a computer, and then use a slightly modified version of the Arduino IDE. It's actually like not very big deal to modify. It's just a text file. You have to add some stuff to program it over USB. And one of the things I did with the bootloader is I made it so that you can press the reset button to activate the bootloader, and it'll automatically detect that it's connected to a computer, and it will be ready for uploading for up to 10 seconds. So the video just shows the red LED pulsing, because I can't actually demo that because I don't want to use your computer.
Okay,
but
I'm going to show this.
Just show it.
Okay. And here we are to the overhead.
All right, let me see if I can get this to be.
All right.
This is tilted. I have to straighten this out. Okay. Hello, Trinket. Okay, so here is a Trinket. I have it on a breadboard just for scale, and there's a little reset button. That's the button I was pressing in that video. There's an ATtiny85, which is a little microcontroller, and it's small, but it's not too bad. Got 8K of flash, half K RAM. There's a regulator here. There's some headers on both sides, so you can plug it into a breadboard, which I'll show. There's two little LEDs, little white dots here are two red and green LEDs, which you'll see. And then this is the mini USB slot. So this is where you plug in your USB cable. You can also connect up a battery externally for power. You can use up to 16 volts. And it's got some mounting holes. So it's pretty simple, straightforward, and there's just some text on the back just to let you know. There's a 5-volt version and a 3-volt version. They're basically the same, except one has a 5-volt regulator, one has a 3-volt regulator. So choose whichever one you want. You want 5-volt logic, use a 5-volt. 3-volt logic, use a 3-volt.
And one quick thing, we do have a 6-pack. So once these are all back in stock, if you want to get 3 and 3, you can do that.
Yeah.
But I'll go back to the overhead. So you wanted to show something here?
Yeah, so I can show, this is my beta Trinket that I designed. So it's a little lighter blue, but it's otherwise the same. So you can see the green power LED. And then here's a red indicator LED, which is used for that bootloader. It won't go into the bootloader right now because it's actually waiting for a computer, and it goes straight to the program. So you actually save time. You don't have to worry about like waiting for a bootloader if it's not connected to a computer. Let's see if I can get this to twist. Okay, so I've got it plugged into a breadboard using some header, and I'm just going to demo showing it powering an LED ring. So let me connect this up to...
How many layers is that circuit board? Someone wants to know.
It's a 2-layer board.
2-layer board, okay.
Okay, so here I just have it connected up to a NeoPixel ring, which is our kind of our
That's very nice.
example. So it can drive up to like 150 NeoPixels. Although if you want to do anything other than just drive pixels, it's like 100 or maybe even less, depending on how much RAM, because each pixel takes 3 bytes of RAM, so do the math. But it can drive a ring, no problem. In fact, we're going to probably have a project where it drives a ring for a goggle. And it can also drive a much larger square. Just one second. Plug this in.
While you set that up.
Plugging. So
you did that very fast.
There's only 3 wires. So this is now controlling an 8x8 matrix at 64 pixels. So you can do stuff as long as you keep it plugged in. It's not a bad little processor. You actually have quite a bit of capability in it, and let's set this up eventually. So
Yeah.
this is really...
Tonight we're trying out the picture quality for the overhead is better. We just have to find where we're going to put the camera for this.
Oh, you know what? It's slipping. That's why.
Oh, it's slipping?
This thing is slipping. Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a secret product that was just...
Okay. Oh, man. This is, we'll figure this out eventually.
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah, so there's, it can, so it has 3 I/O pins that can do kind of like anything. 2 I/O pins that are shared with a USB connection. So they are not available while bootloading, but you can still connect like buttons and stuff to them. It can run at 8 megahertz or 16 megahertz. 8 megahertz is default, but you can clock double to 16 using software, which is kind of neat. The AT1085 has the ability to divide and multiply the clock, so you can run at 16 or 8, which are like the kind of standard Arduino frequencies. So like any code that has like timing kind of freakiness, like oh you need to have like this particular timer, like for example software serial, works great.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to show a quick video. This is from Phil B. He made these cool glasses. Here they are, using a Trinket. And since it's Vine, I'm going to let it play a couple
Just
times.
repeats.
Yeah, because, it's 6 seconds. All right. Okay. And we're back. Want me to go to the overhead to see how it's working?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
all right.
still, I don't know. I got to figure this thing out eventually. This thing is in the way.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Okay, so that is Trinket,
Yeah.
and that was the new products.
In fact, I think we even sold that.
We may have.
We have 3-volt ones left.
Yeah, we have some. We may have some 3 volts. Don't forget the code is Trinket, 10% off everything in the Adafruit store, and there might be some trinkets. We'll see. Okay.
We're making more next week for sure.
Next up, we'll answer this question real quick. What's the difference between Trinket and the Uno?
And Uno is a much more like larger microcontroller. It has more capabilities. This is just for people who want very simple, small projects. They don't need a whole microcontroller that is like 32K, like an 8K is fine. Or they need something much lower power, or they want something you can slip into a small place. So there's trade-offs. Like if you want to get started, go with an Uno. There's a lot of example code. This is kind of for people who want a very specific small thing.
Okay.
It's like an hors d'oeuvre.
We're gonna do
not a dinner.
We're gonna do It's Not Out Yet. Don't ask. So this is top secret stuff. It's not out yet. Don't ask. Here is a nice photo. This is Flora. There's Trinket on the right, and here's the new Gemma in the middle. So Lady Ada, show Gemma.
Hello.
Yeah.
Kind of looks cool. It's got this little display.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got the Gemma PCBs. Everything's just going to be tilted because this is not really working.
Yeah. You can move it over there.
There you go. So this is the Gemma, which is actually what I originally designed the Trinket to be. The Trinket was originally going to be a Gemma, and then I was like, well, I'll make a breadboard version of this. So this is my first Flora right next to it. So you can see the smallness of it. So after I made the Flora, like a week later, I was like, you know what? Like a lot of the projects that we were thinking of for the Flora actually weren't.
Put a little Trinket next to it, maybe. Look at that. Nice lineup.
A lot of these Flora projects weren't even that complicated. It was more like take a button or a simple sensor and then light up some LEDs.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make something that was basically could drive NeoPixels and maybe take like some very simple sensor input and just kind of run on its own. So it still has a lot of the capabilities of Flora for like basic sensor stuff, basic pixel stuff. Again, it's a small processor, but it also makes it a lot smaller. So this is something about the size of like a $50 or something.
Yeah, it's very
something that
small.
you could fit into a small project. Flora's not that big. It's pretty small too. Like we have that shoe project that we did last week.
Yeah.
But if you have something that's even smaller, maybe you want to fit onto sandals, or you want to fit it into a hairband where this would be a little bit too big, this might be a good project.
Okay. So It's Not Out Yet. Don't ask. I have one photograph. John Engineer is working on an awesome set of photos. Here's a preview. Look at this, Lady Ada. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, that's the thing I gave him. What?
Yeah. So we're working on that photo set now. So that was It's Not Out Yet. Don't ask. Okay. One more reminder. Trinket is the code. 10% off everything in the Adafruit store. Expires tonight, 11:59 p.m. It is questions time. Ask your questions in the chat. Can't be about Trinket because it's not out yet. Don't ask.
No, Gemma.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Whoops.
Trinket is out.
Okay. Can Trinket drive an OLED display?
It has the pins to drive like one of our I2C OLED displays, but it doesn't have the RAM to buffer it.
Okay.
Because you need a lot of memory. So if you need a display, I'd go with a character LCD, like our I2C character backpack, which we don't have a tutorial for, but eventually we'll get that working.
I was in opposite mode. You can ask all the questions of Trinket you want. I meant Gemma. I'm really tired. Next up, is there any plans for a 3.3 volt Trinket with a JST socket for lipos?
I thought about that, but I wanted to keep it small, so it's going to be the way it is. What you can use is we have a JST extension cable, which is what we're going to use for projects, and you can cut it in half and use the socket side, which is kind of the most expensive part, and then recycle the other half or whatever, and then use that to wire into your Trinket.
Okay.
So you can have a wire floating. But if you want a JST connector on it, I would use the Gemma because the Gemma is basically the same stuff, but with a JST connector, but it's bigger.
Could the
Trade-offs.
Trinket work with the CC3000?
No, it does not have enough flash or RAM for it. I mean, I think you could possibly get it to ping, but you wouldn't be able to do anything else because the CC3000 code, despite being fairly lightweight, it requires a lot.
How much flash and RAM does the bootloader take up in the Trinket?
The bootloader does not take up any RAM because as soon as it's done bootloading, it resets the board. For flash, it uses like 2.8K.
Okay. Next up, I've seen this on many Adafruit products. What is the yellow tape on the USB plugs doing there?
That's the pickup tape. So the top of a USB connector has a lot of holes on it, which is what is used. It's a bent metal, and it's used to kind of grip the connector. But that also makes it kind of air leaky, like air can flow through the top of the connector. So the yellow tape is the pickup tape, so it allows the pick-and-place head to get a really good grip because the tape is very, very smooth, so it can grip onto it and pick it up. If you look at a USB connector, you'll see there's little gaps and slots in it.
Okay, next up. Can you PWM with Trinket?
Yes, it has 2 PWM outputs.
Okay. Can the Flora and the Trinket both act like USB keyboards?
The Flora definitely can act like a USB keyboard. We have a tutorial on turning a Flora into a like a Nintendo-like controller. So we already have example code for that. That's really easy. The Trinket can also, but we haven't written the code for it. We might have to make some small updates. So it can, it just not until we finish writing the code and the tutorial for it.
Okay.
The small keyboard, like 1 or 2 keys there.
Can you add SRAM to an Arduino? Can you add external SRAM to an Arduino?
You can, but not any. You can add it to, I think, the Due, and maybe the Mega can, but only certain chips can. You can add like 8-port SRAM, and it will automatically manage the RAM for you. With an Uno, you can't. It doesn't have external RAM functionality, and not all of the Megas do. The big ones do, but I don't remember which ones. I know like the 644 did, because it was kind of a weird thing the 644 does.
Okay. Next up, will you release a Trinket with more RAM?
The Trinket itself cannot have more RAM with the chip it's using, because the chip is what's limiting the RAM. However, there is a Pro Trinket I'm working on, which will be a little bit more expensive, but will have a more complicated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to put this on here real quick.
What?
Okay, now we're back. Whoa, Pro Trinket. You just released a Trinket like a day ago.
I know.
What's going on here?
I know, but I came up with the Gemma right after I released the Flora. No, because the Trinket was so popular, and people were like, "Oh, I want one like this, but a little bit more like advanced." So I'm like, okay, so I'm looking at other chips that can basically do similar stuff, but have more flash and RAM.
This is crazy. Okay, fine. Pro Trinket. You've heard it here first, everyone.
What?
Next up.
It's right here.
Okay. Are you sick of me asking you to call the CC3000 Adafruit.11? No, I think it's funny.
No, it's cute. Keep doing it, but I can't change the name.
We can't change the name, yeah. Next up. Is there a small wearable project for Flora where a simple trigger plays a sound, like a makey type thing?
We don't have a project that can do like audio effects yet. The problem is that the only audio effects chip we have right now, the VS1053, is kind of huge and requires a lot of stuff, and is not a really good match for wearables. But we hear your pain. We will try to have something that you can use at some point.
Okay. Why don't we take off the yellow tape off the USB thing and when it's done?
Because it doesn't hurt.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
Next up. Halloween costume for my 6-year-old. Wants to be a walking xylophone. How would they do that?
I guess you'd cut a lot of pieces of wood.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could probably do like a wave shield thing where as they're walking, and maybe they can do, you look at our Firewalker Firewalker shoes, because you can have a sound trigger and it could be playing.
Our VS10, if you had a whole costume that you're willing to stuff into, the VS1053 board we have has a MIDI mode.
Yeah.
And the MIDI mode has a xylophone instrument, so you can send it like use an Arduino, or you could use a Flora. We don't have example code, but you can look at the code for the color synth.
Yeah.
And then somehow you would just use the synthesizer in the xylophone mode, which you just look up which number that is. But then you have to figure out how to sense whatever you want to sense. That I don't know exactly how this xylophone looks.
Okay.
This is a pretty arcane project. Does he want to be like Iron Man, like everybody else?
No, I think it's I don't know. It's a kid.
Xylophone. Okay, that's cool.
All right. Next up, can you use a 3-volt Trinket on a simple walker with 2 servos, like a little bot?
I think it can, in fact, drive 2 servos. I haven't written the code for it, but it could probably do it.
Yeah. Whose office is in the back? Well, we have one big giant open space.
There's no offices.
Yeah, we don't have any closed doors here. We actually like the open environment. So this is where our production staff will QA some outgoing. There's our COO, Molly. John Janier is over there.
It's not really an office.
Yeah, it's office-like entity. Rissa from Wearables sits over there. I sit over there. Then we've got Roxanne and Daigo and Tony. And then the shippers are over there. We got lots of folks. So we're all in one big office.
Yeah, it's one big office.
Yeah.
12,000 square foot office.
Someone wants a mini Trinket.
Don't get any smaller than that.
Oh, and the number 26 on the back, that's a number of perfect packed reseller shipments.
We
In a
QA
row.
the shipments, but these are all the ones that passed QA perfectly.
Yeah.
It's 26 shipments, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the record.
We keep upping it, and every time we up
What's the
it.
goal, 50?
Well, yeah.
50?
I mean, 50 would be, pretty tough with perfect QA each time. But we have, we send out thousands of packages a day sometimes, and they all have to be perfect. And if they're not, we instantly take care of it. But we have a really robust and fast and accurate way to make sure everything is in these packages.
26.
Yeah.
All right, they can beat that number. If they get to 500, they get cronuts.
Yeah. Okay, how comes Lamore the engineer fills his camera control? Because no matter what I think I could ever possibly learn about engineering,
You don't know anything about
I
electronics.
don't. And I
That's okay, I don't know anything about camera control. This software, what is this, Wirecast?
yeah.
Craziness? I don't understand. There's
Yeah.
just like buttons and dialogues. And
It is a little crazy, but
Stuff.
I enjoy doing this. And one day I may either be off camera completely, or maybe I'll just be able to host the show with you and not run all this stuff. But right now it's just me. I can't find anybody who wants to do all this.
No.
Next up.
But it's cool. You get to see the founder and the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah.
Messing around with Wirecast.
Yeah, next up. What is your strategy for making and stocking items? Well,
You make them as fast as possible and try to keep them in stock.
Yeah. No,
That's my strategy.
Yeah, I could tell you a little bit because this is in my zone of helping to run Adafruit. So what we do is we have a predictive inventory system that looks at how fast things are moving, and it'll let our production teams know what we need to make more of. And it's also telling us what to order, how many of it, and we also look at workflow. How long does it take us to make something? And there are times when suppliers are delayed, so we try to account for that. There's times when maybe we have something that takes off and it just becomes really popular. There's no amount of preparation you could do for something like Trinket, I would say. Because if we had 5,000 in stock right now, I think there's like 5,000 people who would want these, but you don't know. So that's when you release a new product, sometimes you'll have a couple hundred, and depending on the volume and how fast they move, like call it velocity, there's all these buzzwords and stuff, you can then decide, okay, let's get this amount for the next run, and you can keep increasing that, and eventually it levels off. And we have a lot of, behind the scenes, we spend a lot of time on running Adafruit and making sure the software that we write keeps everything in stock. Until recently, we didn't have an awesome pick-and-place machine. We had one that got us by, and I really loved that machine, and we donated
We cherished it.
We donated to NYC Resistor, but it only did 1,000 components per hour. And customers around the world really wanted products all the time, more than we could supply. So we invested our money into this machine. We bought it outright, and now we have a pick and place, the Samsung SMT42, and it does 26,000 components per hour, and it's amazing. And the output is fantastic. So those are all the things that that goes into this. We also have a version of the Adafruit learning system that no one can see unless you're at Adafruit, and it has every single product and how we make it, and we constantly update it and do notes. It's very cool. So we're eating our own dog food, so to speak. Okay. Next one. Why are the power rails on your breadboard split in half?
All large breadboards have split rails. I don't know why they originally did this, but I know that it's pretty much standard whenever you get large breadboards. They're split.
Okay. Do you think the 3.3 volt Trinket has enough power and memory to run an FFT for audio spectrums?
No. An Uno can, however. We have a library for that called the FFFT.
When are you going to remove the medium OtterBox from the site? The manufacturer discontinued it.
They discontinued it, but they replaced it with another very similar but slightly rubberier and smoother medium-sized OtterBox, which we got in today.
Okay, last question. If I have a product and it costs X dollars to produce, how much % should I add as a profit if they take about an hour to manufacture by hand? Well, no matter what, make sure you add double margins. And we have articles about this. Search for kit development company.
The safest thing to do is just double it and then double it again.
Yeah.
That way you're safe. So if it's $1, double it, $2, and double it again, $4. So $1 of parts, It's $4.
Yeah, but for labor
cost.
costs, make sure that you are imagining what it would cost someone, making a decent hourly amount and add that to your cost.
Yeah.
And, that scales over time and it shrinks down, especially as you get good and you have a pick and place and
Yeah,
all
for
that
example,
stuff.
like hand soldering versus getting it assembled might be cheaper, but still you should add that cost. You can always lower the price later. We should.
Okay.
It's 11 o'clock.
Yep, it is. It
Okay.
is now time to do the trivia question. Those are good sets of questions.
Yeah.
Oof. Trivia question, Lady Ada, what are the rules?
Rules are if you've won something before, I don't care how much you want this, you can't enter again. You only have one winner per lifetime. And it's my lifetime. And I'm still alive.
Yeah.
So
So we're giving you one of the open source hardware bags.
it has chock full of goodies.
It has all sorts of goodies. Maker
But
bag.
It's like I remember I saw it was like there's this thing, there's a ruler,
Stickers.
flexible
It has
ruler
hardware
with
and
stuff on it.
yeah, you got a bunch of stuff.
Oh wait, you don't get the badge.
You don't get my badge.
Sorry, you gotta keep the badge.
Yeah.
But,
So all sorts of cool stuff. So anyways, yeah.
Catalogs.
So let's do this so we can
Sorry.
chat here. So we're gonna send you
there's
this
a little
bag.
bits box I saw.
Yeah. There's all sorts
There's
of cool
actual
stuff.
electronics in there.
Okay. Here it is.
Okay.
First person to type this up in the chat. Who are
Remember, you can't enter if you've won before.
who are the two organizers? First and last name.
Spelled correctly.
Spelled correctly. Who are they?
It's not filled, but I'm going to show this badge.
That's my badge.
I know. You're not the organizer, but I'm just showing the badge. This is cool. It says e-ink badge. There's like an Arduino compatible on the back. There's SD card even.
The two organizers this year.
Who were the two?
First name and last name.
Two first
Cut and
name,
paste it
last
in there.
name, spelled correctly of the two lovely people. Maybe I'll turn this on. Okay. And this is called the Badger.
Yeah. Let's see who's gonna get this.
They also program in this logo. You see the e-ink inverts. And then there's some QR code, which I don't know what it does.
Yeah.
And then there's you. So you can cycle through.
Wow. No one's getting this. The first name and last name of the organizers. Bill Hurd, you got it. First name and last name.
The designers.
Bill Hurd. Congrats, Bill Hurd. Email support@adafruit.com.
And this is the
And
schedule,
you get-
which is really handy.
My bag.
That bag.
You get
that
the bag.
Just saw.
All right,
You
real
got
quick.
it.
Real quick. Here's a photo of MOSFET. I gotta get a new
okay.
photo of MOSFET.
I
There he is.
know.
Meow, 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 meow. He came up to the door of our apartment when we got home, and he was really angry. He meowed,
He
meowed, meowed.
was really upset.
Yeah,
I'm not too happy
yeah.
with our behavior.
Okay, congratulations, Bill Hurd. Make sure you email support@adafruit.com. We'll send you that bag.
Jim is coming out this week,
Yeah.
unless I get hit by a truck tonight.
Nope. No truck kidding.
No truck hitting.
That's
'cause
not
I
gonna,
gotta get
it's not gonna happen. Okay, thank you everyone who did the
Pressure's
show and
on.
tell. Thank you all of our staff. Thank you, George, who's doing the recording.
And of course, thank
Thank
you
you.
to Jimmy and Addie.
Thank you, Jimmy and Addie, for having a fantastic
Awesome
conference.
party.
Yeah, and we'll see everybody next week.
Wire them for these great badges.
Yeah.
They showed it off.
Here
on the show.
is your moment of Zener.